I love the TV show Titans. Excuse me. I love to hate the TV show Titans. I hate this fucking show with every fiber of my being. And I promise you that. I absolutely already know this is another one of those cold take videos. Everybody's just gonna look at the title of it and already know not only what this is about, but also agree. Probably just skip right past the video. I don't care. I am going to still spread hate for this, especially since doing research for this video, I found out they got renewed for another season. What the Anywho. So I forgot to put an intro in, but I don't care. What's up, everybody? It's your boy WTH coming at you with another cold take. So first of all, let's go ahead and knock out, for everybody who doesn't know, what is Titans? There have actually been multiple versions of a Teen Titans show, but you definitely know which one I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the hilarious animated show Teen Titans Go that grown men cream their pants over in disgust because, oh, it's not the one I grew up on. No, instead I'm actually talking about the live action one that first aired in 2018 with its first season with, by the way, great hope from this guy who had tremendous hope for this show when it was first talked about and it was first announced, until of course the first trailer dropped. Jesus Christ, bro, where do I begin? We got the grunge music, we got the drama-filled shots of a teenage high school type drama show. It looks like actors who are ready to play on an episode of Degrassi, The New Generation. Just everything about the trailer literally killed any and all hope I had for the show. But being the dedicated nerd I am, I still gave this show a shot. I gave this show a chance. Matter of fact, I'm telling you, let me give you a small taste of what I'm talking about.
Hello? You're the boy from the circus.
You got no place to hide.
Fuck that man. You don't know what I've become. I was wrong.
Madness, madness.
WTH. Now in this case, WTH actually stands for why the hate. I'm gonna explain exactly why the hate. So any basic psychiatrist will actually tell you that a lot of hate stems from a place of love. In my case, it'll be the love that I had, of course, for the original animated Teen Titans show that came back on in the 2000s, I believe. And of course, I came in with realistic expectations, knowing they weren't gonna do that show or even try to do that show beat for beat or anything like that. Not what I wanted, not what I expected. I'm okay with new experiences. But this show's poor attempt at showing a live action version of what the Titans could be is criminal, to say the least. From the horrible storylines to the forced storylines, I couldn't tell you if the acting in this show was bad or if it's just the worst dialogue in all of screenplay history. And of course, to go along with that horrific dialogue is the worst character motivation. This is the part where I'm gonna go ahead and throw a good old spoiler warning for literally every season that's been out right now, which is 1 through 3. I have hate watched this show since season 1, episode 3. I've literally watched every episode. I never held out hope once that this thing would get better. But hopefully this video will make it so you don't even have to. Now, just to jump into some of my biggest problems with this thing right off the gate, right out of the gate. Fucking mushmouth today. So literally between every season, some metamorphosis in the staff room must happen because we always set up something big in a season as a B plot usually that literally gets dumped and forgotten or just literally scrapped and retconned in the next season just to start anew. Obviously, the biggest example being season 1 was literally all about setting up Trigon, the biggest villain that the Titans have ever went up against. Definitely something in my mind wasn't a good choice for a season 1 villain. Maybe if he was lingering in the background, always there, especially with Raven's upcoming and origin story, that would have been better. But for him to be front and present for that season as the antagonist was definitely, Of course, he wasn't actually there and present until the very end. A whole nother reason why it's just the worst. The whole season setting it up for him to be the antagonist. And then season 1 ends with him actually getting there, but then ends on a cliffhanger, teasing that Trigon will be the main antagonist for season 2, at least the first half of it. So of course we skip to the season premiere of season 2, and what do you know? The whole issue is dealt with in the first half of the first episode. Wow, how easy was Trigon to beat? Now after season 2, season 3's main setting in Gotham, when they went to Gotham, that wasn't really a problem for me. One of your most known cities, get as much as you can out of it. My problem with that part of season 3 is that they go to such an iconic city with so many unique settings, unique characters, unique things always happening in it. And they did get some traction out of it at first, I'll be honest about that. But besides 2 of the characters that were playing a major part in this season, I don't feel like they used Gotham to its fullest capabilities, or even half of it for that matter. Like the uniqueness of Gotham that we all know and love through so many different mediums that take place there really have built Gotham up as a unique type of low down, dirty, grimy place. And I just really didn't get the feel of that in this season, besides towards the end, which is pretty characteristically Gotham. But the problem is that's because the city was pushed to such a limit. That isn't uniqueness to the city. I feel like any city would have ended up in that position with what was going on. If you're using one of the most iconic cities in the DC universe, make sure you're using it to its fullest capabilities and potential. Literally, streets are roaming with some of the most unique rogues gallery of villains. One of the most, if not most, corrupt political landscape in the DC universe. Like literally, this version of Gotham seems like a version where Batman pretty much took care of all the problems, because there was literally no other crime or anything else happening besides what the Titans were dealing with in this season. I just felt like that was very uncharacteristic of Gotham. They could have definitely talked about a plethora of problems that were probably still happening in the background, things getting worse because Batman had left. All of those things culminating into what they were working towards in the season would have definitely gave it a better feel. And Jesus Christ, and what they did to Batman that season with his whole suicide trip or pity party or whatever the hell he was doing, let alone how they treat this Batman, period. Which brings me actually to this Batman. And this Batman, I guarantee you, without a doubt, is the worst Batman of all time. He is the GOAT of bad Batmans. And it's not because of the actor's fault, not at all 100%. I actually enjoy this actor and many of his work. It's literally the way they portrayed this Batman. From season 1 of how he was talked up to season 2, how he was introduced, to season 3 of how he's handled. Literally in season 1, Robin aka Dick Grayson was dedicated to having nothing else to do with Batman / Bruce Wayne when he moved to Bloodhaven, deciding that all his life trauma, pain, and problems were a direct result of Bruce adopting him as a child. Taking Batman and taking Robin's journey and legacy into this direction for your own show is not a problem. While Dick is partially correct in that most of his trauma probably does stem from the fact that he was adopted by a Caped Crusader who had him fight alongside him at night in tights. But while being partially correct about his trauma, I need everyone to understand that not only Dick, but everybody in this show was talking the biggest shit about Bruce. Like, not just talking mad shit, but literally explaining in detail why he was the worst person to ever walk this planet next to Joker. Like I said, all of that being said, that's completely fine if that's how they want to treat the relationship in this live action show. This is not about Batman, this is about the Titans. So I was okay with that to a certain degree. So now let's fast forward to season 2, when we're actually gearing up to meet Bruce Wayne. Now literally at the end of season 1, Dick actually throws away his Robin outfit. So now all of that is culminating here at the beginning of the first half of season 2. Now we actually do know that we're going to be meeting Bruce in this season. So episode by episode, they're building the tension of Dick not knowing who he is as a new hero yet. And also the tension of the fact that he's going to have to face Bruce eventually. And all of that tension is building until finally we meet the man himself. The man who is the worst thing to happen on this side of the train tracks. And finally, after all this time, after a whole season and a half of shit talking, after a whole season and a half of everyone explaining why he's the worst, here he is, everybody. The moment we've all been waiting for. the disapproving father that is Bruce Wayne.
Bruce?
I'm so glad you all could make it. I'm aware of what's happened to all of you, and I'm sorry. In the light of this news, I'm asking you to make another one. To come together. Walking away from bad feelings is easy. It's much harder to take the blow and come back for more, but that's what a family does.
And he's nice. Wait a minute. He literally gets introduced as the nicest person in the world. Now, to be completely honest, I kind of expected this to happen. He's still a hero at the end of the day. So I expected Bruce to be, you know, a good guy. But at the same time, with all the amounts of crap they were talking about him, I expected him to be very disapproving of a lot of things. You know, the things kids don't like about their parents. But no, not a damn thing of that. Literally the nicest guy you'll ever meet is what they portrayed him as in the show. Not only being the nicest guy ever, he's literally helping at every chance he gets, whether that be with money or resources. So literally the problem there is not only that there is no sign of the horrible person they keep talking about, but also it's the complete polar opposite. What type of mindfuck games are we playing here, folks? Maybe if they explained at one point, oh, he had a change of heart or he's trying to be a better person, but that's never explained. That's never even hinted at. That's just kind of on the back burner, and this is kind of just who he is from the time we meet him to the time season 3 starts. I mean, like, yes, like I already said, a character's gonna do what a character's gonna do, but when you set the audience up to expect something so much and then completely deliver the opposite, there has to be a point to that. And they never explained it. They never explained one. Maybe Dick was seeing things in a different light. Maybe Bruce was like that and he changed. It's up for us to decide, which you don't want to do. The show's already horrible enough. Why do I want to put extra time into this? It's so bad to the point where I'm pretty sure Dick is literally mentally insane at this point. I mean, like, I'm talking about this so much right now because I need you to understand. Literally the episode before we meet Batman, Dick Grayson is, I believe, locked up he was in season 2, and he was literally having hallucinations about Bruce not only being a pervert, but also him in the Batman outfit whooping Dick's ass. These are all hallucinations Dick's having on his own clock. So just basically from that to, I'll give you everything you need on this mission, just doesn't make sense. And that's just the start of the problems with this show, folks. Not to mention each season has the driest spells in the middle of them. Literally panning out the episodes while going literally nowhere. Just setting up plot points for not just the season they're in, but future seasons they just know they're gonna get for some reason. Or just bringing some convoluted stuff together that they have no business doing in the first place. Season 1 literally had a whole B plot following one of the families of the Church of Trigon, which was the boringest thing to ever watch. Literally almost had no significance whatsoever to the actual story. And I need you to understand, we followed this family for all of season 1, folks. Literally doing whatever and not making much of a difference. Which actually may have been their intention, to make something else seem so much worse in the same show that their main plot looked good. A few more hate points I want to hit on before moving forward. Wonder Girl's death in season 2. Heroic way to die? Yeah. The dumbest possible way to die? Bigger hell yeah. Literally just finished fighting one of the deadliest and most popular Titan villains ever. And they win. And she goes out by a freaking light pole that fell and electrocuted her to death? Okay. Another point. Raven and Beast Boy's powers, or lack thereof really. The way Raven's powers appear in this show with the black goo effect, most likely due to special effects reasons, also Most likely why she was missing from the first half of season 3. Beast Boy only turning into a tiger all of season 1, which makes sense because they did kind of explain in season 2 he's still learning his powers, but this was never fully stated when we met him in season 1 or throughout season 1 that he can only turn into a tiger, and that just kind of left the audience to figure it out for themselves when season 2 came around and he actually started turning into a few other animals. Another point I have to hit on is Jason Todd turning into the Red Hood. Now before I hate on it, I will give them their kudos for holding out for so long, because there was a moment in seasons 1 and 2 where I really thought that he was gonna definitely bite the bullet just so they can bring him back the next season as Red Hood. But nope, they didn't decide to take those easy routes out, and I do applaud them for that. But it's still on the hate points for a reason. Yes, they didn't kill him in seasons 1 or 2 when they definitely had good opportunities to, but instead they decided to just do it at the beginning of season 3 and streamlined right into the Red Hood thing anyway. I don't know. I don't know what I really wanted from this show, especially when season 3 came around. Don't know what I wanted, don't know what I was expecting. And then of course I have to mention the shoehorning of Superboy into this show just because he's popular in the Young Justice franchise, and you cannot tell me that's not why he's in here. Not only do they shove Superboy in here, they make him a simp. There aren't a couple of saving graces about this show. Now I will say that the show is definitely not afraid to go against the norm. A lot of the examples I've given in this video so far actually definitely punch on that point very hard, just in a bad way. These next couple of examples are actually in a good way. Of course, one of the biggest ones being Starfire and Blackfire's origin story and the route they decided to take that in season 3. The route they took this in season 3 with Blackfire gaining powers and Starfire getting back powers was very nice in my opinion. Even though I did give a spoiler warning, I don't want to get into too many details. Another saving grace for this show is that they give characters actual emotions. I don't know if the actors are doing a bad job at acting. Personally though, I don't think they are. I just think the dialogue's really horrible. But in terms of actors, they are doing a great job at showing realistic emotions. These shows really touch on those uncertain and uneasy times in real people's lives that these characters are showing definitely through their acting, that a lot of animated shows don't actually do. Even though it's something we love to see in our heroes, especially in these type of hero shows, that they're so charismatic and unquitting to the end, that's just not very realistic in a lot of cases. And I think that the show actually does a pretty good job at showing that part. Funny how the one good thing they do is show bad things. The dialogue and the storylines may be horrible garbage trash, but the actors definitely still hit their marks. Brenton is actually the picture perfect version of a live action Dick Grayson, so perfect casting there. Mamie Anna actually portrays this version of Starfire to perfection, not only with the strength and the wit, but also, yes, the sass of an independent black woman from another far away planet. A lot of people actually don't like how they took Starfire's fish out of water alien persona and switched it out with this. To be honest, I wasn't entirely on board with it when I first heard about it, but after watching the first season and seeing how awesome and how kick-ass she was, I really ended up loving it. It's more so the fact that I didn't know what direction they was going to take this character in, and now that I figured it out and she was a kick-ass independent black woman, I was 100% on board with this version. It's not something they stumbled into, like, oh, she's a strong woman. Like, no, they already came in with the expectations that Starfire was going to be a strong and witty woman. They just made sure to put it in a good package as well. And to be honest, it's hard not to like a melanated queen. Now the villains of season 2 and 3 anyway are also a saving grace for the show. Now Slade's backstory with the Titans in this show is actually very deeper, much deeper than any other show's rivalry between the Titans and Slade has went into describing. And I actually do enjoy it a lot. The blood feud between the two factions makes 100% sense. To be honest, the fight scenes with Slade were underwhelming, being, you know, the master assassin he is. Thought they could have been a lot better. And then of course Scarecrow of season 3 delighted me, the fact that he was even the main antagonist. Being the mastermind behind literally everything that happened in season 3 really shows us a version of Scarecrow that we haven't seen before, and let alone seen, even imagined. I don't think that Cross ever really got this type of full-fledged backstory in any other medium, animated or live action otherwise, of a Batman or Titans or any type of DC property. I say Cross because I'm pretty sure his name's Jonathan Cross, right? whatever, I'm gonna stick with Scarecrow. The explorations of his traumatic past at the hands of his disapproving mother, yes, parents are always the real villain, really brings most of his being in this show to light. Not only as the character that he is now, but the villain he created to begin with. And then of course he has that level of smugness that is just the worst, which really makes the best villains to hate. And then one more saving grace I want to drop on everybody would be definitely my favorite fight scene, the one from season 1 where Jason Todd literally obliterates the cops. In my opinion, this is literally the best action scene shot in the whole show. I'll definitely link that in the description for you guys below so you can see that one. And don't get me wrong, it's the best in the show, but definitely by far not the best action scene ever to be filmed. It just really gives you a grounded level of what Jason's character is really about going forward in the rest of the show. But with all that being said, do not get it twisted. Every character on this show is officially on my shit list. Jason, even though having such a cool fucking fighting scene to introduce him, definitely is the most annoying fucker ever, which to the show's credit might actually be by design. This may not be the same version of Starfire that we're used to, but boy oh boy, the cluelessness of Starfire's character is definitely still there and annoying as fuck in a lot of scenes. The uselessness of Beast Boy is very prominent in this show, which is literally why they've written him to be more of a moral compass for the team. Raven's character is literally like the blandest muffin you've ever tasted. And of course we got Superboy, whose simping isn't a problem per se, but the way they shoehorned him into the show because the popularity of the animated show Young Justice, which is leagues better than this, is the reason why they shoehorned him in the first place. They literally have nothing for Superboy to do in any of these seasons besides of course simp in season 3, which is pretty much why he's sidelined for most of the seasons that he's in, which of course happens when you have OP Superman level abilities and powers. And of course, how could we not touch upon our favorite and most horniest vigilante in Gotham? In between childhood trauma and putting his namesake in every female superhero in the show, Dick is literally falling upwards every chance he gets. So at this point, I've really rattled off so many things that I think are wrong with it. Excuse me, I know are wrong with this show. Believe me though, I still haven't even scratched the surface, folks. At this point, a lot of you are probably just asking, why this show? And that's what I want to know. Why this show? Why does this show exist? Why does it have 3 seasons? Why is it renewed for a 4th? Who likes, let alone loves this show? I need to know, and I need to know why. So please come find me on Instagram and Twitter at IBeFamousWDS, link in the description below. And please let me know if you feel differently than me. I don't even want to argue. I really want to understand why you even attempt to like this show. What about this show draws you in? If you do by chance like this show, please comment below. Let me know what about this show you enjoy. And I guess what else you're looking towards seeing in season 4, which unfortunately I will be hate watching. If you made it this far, just go ahead and hit the like button on this video. Also comment anything about the show that you feel, and definitely share this with the DC Universe fandom. I know if we all hate it, there has to be someone who likes this show to keep it going. And guys, I'm so desperate to hear from these people. Like I said, I don't even want to debate. I don't even want to argue. I just want to listen to it. I just want to hear it with my own 2 ears. I ain't got no time for this. Future Dwight, play me out.